I mean, don't even remember which other game did it so well.
Exactly.
The dagger, she has a British accent.
What? Dude, I never noticed that.
As a developer, we are very partial people, and let me explain on what I mean by being partial. Okay, let's compare this right now. So,
oh, that's so bad.
You don't change.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is VK Dante here, and we're back again with another video. And in today's video, we're gonna do something different. We're gonna have a game developer react to some of these game trailers that I've lined up, and have some fun questions as well. So it'll be fun to see how his reaction is to these videos. And today I have NAKY with me here, who has been in the industry for almost 10 years, and it'll be fun to see his reactions to these. So let's get right into it. So I have NAKY with me here. Hey NAKY, what's up? Thank you so much for taking out time from your busy schedule, dude.
Yo, dude, what's up?
Yeah. So we're gonna do something unique here today, and I have a few trailers lined up for you. And plus, there are some lingering questions that I have, which I want answered. Did you receive the file that I sent you to download?
Yes, I did.
You
actually.
received it?
What is it about?
So you'll find a few trailers in those files. So just download, just extract the file, and you'll find a few trailers in them.
Interesting.
Yeah. Just extracted. You should.
So I'm just gonna extract this.
You find a few 2-3 trailers.
Yeah, it says 1, 2,
exactly.
and 3.
So just play the first one,
All
and I think you'll understand what this is right off the bat. So let's hear it.
Oh.
King and his son.
You know exactly what this is, right?
Mighty empire.
Man, this brings back memories.
Extravagant hourglass and a mysterious dagger.
Prince of Persia.
Sands of Time.
Long time since this game came out, and it feels.
It belongs to a great.
I was so small
exactly.
back then. I was maybe in like,
Princess tricked.
I don't know, less than 10 years old, I guess. I don't know. It's been a while. The woman,
He has no reason
the man,
So much
and the
sand.
sand.
Sand everywhere.
So much sand. Reminds me of that Spider-Man
Exactly.
scene. 73 actually.
Exactly. That is what I recall. The Spider-Man thing where he takes off the mask.
Where do all these guys come from?
After fighting Sandman. Yeah.
Dagger, she has a British accent.
What? Dude, I never noticed that. This time rewind there was
that
such
sound
a.
of revival.
I know, it's such a good like concept. I don't think anybody has done it so well now. Such a good concept.
I don't even remember which other game did it so well.
Exactly.
Maybe Time Shift, but not as good as this.
Not as good as this. No. So what are your thoughts on this?
What are my thoughts? I mean, I'm not capable of critiquing something as big as this. Like the Ubisoft, this logo, just seeing this logo back then was like, oh my god, this is the elite stuff. This is the A-level class.
Like this is the time where Ubisoft was like publishing, developing. There was so much going on with Ubisoft.
It kind of makes me want to play this just by seeing the trailers.
Yeah,
so,
I still replay it.
See, yeah, I mean, what's exactly happening? So what do you want to know about this? I'm intrigued.
Yeah, so there are a few questions that I had for you. So let's roll the trailer again. And full disclosure for you guys that whatever NAKY has are his own opinions based off of his experience. So let's pause at this point. Okay. So my first question is, why were the fingers back in those days stuck like that? Like they are not defined completely. They're not separate. Like the prince has like this like index, thumb, and the other rest of the fingers just attached, just there. So what is happening there? Why was that happening? I remember even PlayStation 1 game that had nothing but the fists. So what happened there? Why was that the case in those games?
Well, so what I can say right off the bat before I start as a disclaimer is any opinions or suggestions I'll give you is something that I can say based on what I've heard from the past, because back then I was part of production. I'm in production since last 10, so 2012 or 13 is when I started this. But I have an idea of why they did certain things a certain way, because pipelines evolve over the time, right? And we need to know history. Just like how we study history in school, there is history of game development that we need to be aware of, because these guys faced tremendous challenges and there was no help for them.
Right.
Today we have internet and so many things to help each other. Like some developer, if the Prince Persia developer says like, oh, this is not what happened, it's completely fine. It's just my opinion of what could have been. So what I'm doing here, VK, is I'm just going to load something to explain it visually rather than just saying it in words. So what you see right now is an application called 3ds Max. It's a very common software that game industries use, and this is just one of them. So right now what you're seeing is basically a semi-humanoid, like you got arms, legs, and a head and a spine, right? So if I go scroll down here, it's hard to see, but if I just add in some fingers, you will see that the bones are getting populated. And if I add the links to it, you can start seeing that he also has these, links that we have as a human, right?
Okay.
Now, before we think about this, let's jump back to the video actually. And you need to understand that creating games takes a lot of time and a lot of processing power. It's very costly. Not just terms of monetarily. I'm speaking about the processing power. Back then, I believe if this was released in 2003, the production probably started in 2000 maybe. Developers had to think of ways like where we can cut these things off, where we can be more cost effective. So if I think about it, let's say if you think about hand, what do you need to express with hand? If you see there are like 5 fingers, what expression do you need to create with hand? Let's say if you want to point to someone, like pointing something or like touching something, you would use the index finger. So we definitely need to have an index finger. Now, if you think about like, okay, if you want to wave a hand or something, all the five fingers can be almost together, but the thumb might need to be separated. So yeah, the thumb, because to hold a sword or a dagger, you need it separate. So yeah, thumb definitely needs separate. Now, if you come to the middle finger, the ring and the pinky, is there an instance you might need it to be separate? Whether he wants to show a middle finger? Not really. The profanity wouldn't be accepted.
Yeah, even back then in those games, they wouldn't need so much detail.
I don't think so, yeah. So the production says like, hey, let's just remove all these other links, all the fingers that we don't need, and just keep what's necessary. So they create a 3-bone system for that, and they also need to decide like how many links do they actually need to create. Are they able to suffice that? So they might even remove the links for the 3 joint fingers and just keep it for the thumb and the index. Careful
so they're
about
basically trying to save as much resource and memory as possible.
Yeah, exactly. So they're trying to remove the resources of like unnecessary animation, because every single link will have a weight to it. Every weight needs to be transferred to processing power. So there's a lot of processing that happens. Imagine when you're playing a game, you click a button and the character moves. It's not just one move. There are like thousands of things coming together and giving you pixel result, right? So that's what I believe.
Push one button, like there are thousands of programs interacting with each other to make whatever is happening on a screen to make it happen. So it's not just something that one thing works out. It's not like that. So many things just talk to each other and then the display comes through. So yeah, I can totally get that. Yeah. So I'll move on to my next question, NAKY. Here, let's keep into the theme. So if you can just watch it in the same clip right there. Okay. So that looks like a CGI, but there the fingers are clearly defined. But right after this scene, they are not defined like that. So why do you think that distinction happened? And in the CGI, they are separated, but in the gameplay footage that they show, the fingers are again linked up like that. So why do you think there's that differentiation when they're making the CGI versus the gameplay trailer? Because this is the same game trailer, right? This is what they decide to show. This is probably the first trailer they decide to show, and then why do you think that happened?
Right. So okay, there are multiple reasons that might have happened. So it's interesting that you noticed it, because they actually did it after this, right? So if you see this, we have all these fingers stuck. It's low resolution, but it's not way after. It's right after that scene where you see all the fingers separated. Like, why did they do that? Now, so if I am to assume or like guess right off the bat, if I'm on a limb, I would say that the production usually doesn't go seamless. It's not like, okay, the first scene you see is the protagonist and his father like staring at a kingdom. Probably there's a fighting scene. They change it to an hourglass. So all these things laid out, they don't necessarily mean that they're always planned in that exact fashion. The sequence isn't really decided. The people who make games don't necessarily create the cinematics, and the people who make cinematics don't really create the game. So these are two different sectors or like different people or entities that make these things.
So you're telling me there's a different department or studio that develops the CGI trailer, different from the actual game developer?
I would like to correct myself here. Like, it's not like always necessary, but 80% or 90% of times that's how it is. And the reason for that is the development of game is tedious. It's long lasting. It's very crazy, and they don't really have time to make a 3-minute video to look fancy, because making the 3-minute video might take months and maybe years to finish, while they have other important things to.
So that team is completely different. Okay,
yeah.
fine.
So coming to present day, to this day, if you think about it, if you go on any Ubisoft game, every single Ubisoft game ever made has a amazing looking cinematic, whether it's Assassin's Creed, whether it's Siege, whether it's Tom Clancy, any game out there has a wonderful looking
Watch
trailer,
Dogs.
and that's because they're being made by a separate department. When you look at the games, and that's where the kind of Ubisoft hatred is as well, like the trailers look amazing, but the game, okay. So we're not going to go into that, but coming back to this decision here, what I'd like to believe is that sometimes because of the confidentiality, now right now we know what the game is about. We know that the hero is going to use the dagger, it's going to use the time aspects, and so many things, which is very specific to this game, right? So it's confidential stuff. Maybe the production decided, like, okay, we'll not create a sequence where they show the dagger right from the get-go, right? That's probably the director's decision. So right, we're not going to send the production department of the cinematics to show the dagger itself. However, once down the line, it's not just the director's decision. Probably the producers, or probably the people who want to push the market this game, they want to, like, okay, you know what? Let's just show the dagger. Let's just show something more to the audience,
the PR
to get their attention. And then they decide, like, okay, you know what? Just put that dagger in the trailer somewhere.
Right.
And they're like, no, we just finished that. We just finished an entire trailer, and that's not done. So they might not go back and have the contract signed back again.
Yeah, so because that team must have already been paid off.
Probably.
They are already paid off, they're sent off.
And they're like, okay, let's take a in-game version and let's just put it in, because it's not very long, right? If you just play it again, it barely stays there for like maybe
a couple of seconds,
second or two.
Couple of
seconds.
Just
holds it. Yeah, just 2 seconds, not more than that. So that could be one of the reasons that they're trying to save the confidential part, not give it to the cinematic department, because cinematics don't show everything, right? Because they're limited to like teasing. They don't really want to show all the gimmicks.
Right.
So I would like to believe.
Yeah. So because this is the early version of the trailer, they just don't want to show everything.
I would believe that maybe they decided to add it on later, and they didn't have that high resolution video, or like
a CGI render.
So they just have to ship it because they didn't have time probably.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. I think that could be a reason, but I'd like to know like what could have been.
It's pretty intriguing, man. Like there's a lot of things I'm learning, and I hope my audience are learning too. But let me push to the next question here, because I'm going to linger on the fingers a lot. So again, the question is related to that itself. So if you roll back the trailer, I just wanted to show you. So when you're looking at the character, like the fingers are attached, we already know that. But there are features on Prince that are actually very, aesthetic. Like his hair are moving. Like he has this Salman Khan Tere Naam style going on with his hair. And then his clothes are waving when he's moving around, when he's doing stuff. So what would have been the discussion, or what would have been the decision to have those parts move in his Prince's body, like his clothes and hair, and not the fingers? Let's have the fingers attached, but we need these things moving. So why do you think that distinction happened when they're creating? Like, was it artistic? Was it something related to performance?
That's quite interesting, actually.
Why would that happen?
I would like to say that as production, as a developer, we are very partial people, and let me explain on what I mean by being partial. Everything on the screen eats pixels, right? Everything that you see, whether you see prints, whether you see particles, weapons, props, environment, everything has a screen time. Everything shows up on the screen. Now we need to be partial to what exactly we are delivering, what exactly we want the audience to see, what should be like pristine and perfect. So when we sit down, we're like, okay, what are those sections of prints that's going to be quite evident to the audience? If the audience is going to play, what is it that they are going to see? To give that expression, like right now, the way he moved his head, to show the intensity of his rage and expression, we definitely want to show his hair, because he has long hair. Creating game is actually problem solving most of the time. So as artists, we have to define or figure out how we can make the director's wishes come to true. So if he says like, okay, we need the hair, so we have to decide, like, being partial. Okay, I need certain memory for the entire body. I need a memory for the weapons. I need the memory for animation. I need the memory for the cloth simulation and all that stuff. So that's where the finger part as well comes in. So probably what they could have done is reduce the amount of memory usage on those fingers or animation, and just probably add that to the places somewhere else. So it's like I'm not saying that's what happened, but problem solving is usually based on the character artist who creates the character. There are technical people who define like how much memory can be allocated.
Right.
There are animators and riggers who have some resources. Like every department, whether it's music, whether it's sound, whether it's dynamics, whether it's animation, character, textures, every department has certain memory allocated to them. So they try to make best of that, and in the end, will it work? Will it work on 30 FPS, 20 FPS? I don't know what FPS is worked on. Is it gonna run efficiently? So we are being partial to what needs to be seen. For example, if he's running and dancing, we don't need to see his fingers and all that. People are focusing on his main body. So that's where the cloud dynamics might be more important.
Right.
So it's case to case, and we decide what's important, what the audience need to see. So yeah.
So the director might be this print should look like that, like this, and the technical team is like, listen to me. I cannot do all that. I can do this, take it or leave it.
Yeah. Oh, that happens. Yeah. So I'll tell you another reason. Like we have to fight for our sectors.
Right.
And say, the character department like, no, we need this much resources. The animation will say, no, we need to do this much. So tech guys will have to be like, we can only do this much. So we have to fight for that. Like what's important and what's not. So is it important to see his fingers getting separated, or is it important for his head to get wobble around? Is it important for the sword to keep swinging when it's running? The gravity to affect. So all these things are sorted out. It's negotiations, it's bargains all the way.
So that particular team is bargaining for that thing. So there must be a lot of artistic decisions too, right? Like you said, when the prince is turning, his hair has to wave so he can show that intensity on his face. And even when he's fighting, the movement would have his hair bounce around, so that would even tell that he's actually jumping. And also that's pretty interesting too. That's really interesting. The last thing that I want to discuss is in a separate video. So why don't you just close this and move on to that one? Because I know you want to talk about this. Okay. So, so this remake trailer that came out, right? I think it already got delayed. It's not even launching. They don't even have a date. It was supposed to launch this January, I believe, this year. But it got kicked back because of the negative response it got. He has fingers here, but
what did I do to you to your okay.
So it doesn't look very bad, but considering it's a remake and what remakes have become now, like the standards remakes have said, especially starting off with the Shadow of the Colossus, Resident Evil 2 remake, and most recently, Demon's Souls. Like that game looks insane, and this being a remake and Ubisoft doing it in house, because most of them were done from Viewpoint. Capcom did their own remake, which is also commendable. But what went wrong here? Like, why is it so bad? I just wanna understand why.
There's so many things that can be assumed that went wrong here. First of all, I have nothing against which team works on this. It's just that the IP, the Prince of Persia: Sands of Time, has a huge weightage to it. The fact that we're even criticizing is because the standard that it's set back in 2003, you need to do something way beyond anyone else has done because of what the game stood back then. For example, if you the best example I think about is like, let's just say Resident Evil 2. They had to literally remake. That's a remake. Like they made it from scratch, everything, but they kept the vibe intact. The standard that we have today of all the games out there, if we go back in 2000, let's say if this came out back in 2000,
I have a comparison video also if you want to play that.
Maybe. Okay, that would be better.
That's the third video that I've sent you. So this is like a comparison.
So this came out way back in 2006 or 7. I would have been like still okay, maybe back then. But the amount of depth and detail we keep right now, it's like okay, let's compare this right now. So
that's so bad.
You don't change the direction of what the thought process was. Like right off the bat, the colors are off. Like this is not what they had planned back. Even the colors are so dull and dimmed down, it just signifies certain, like for example, why is this hat not the same color? I don't know what's the reason why they kept
because he looks royal here and here he looks like the Wazir.
Correct.
He looks like the Wazir.
But it doesn't make sense. You cannot change that direction there. Even if you see the hair, it has like flat planes here for crying out loud. It's nothing. It's like so bad, but it gives the impression. But here is like Fine, it may be real that your hairs do get tied back, but you're losing that essence there.
The aesthetics are
Even
gone.
the way he's holding the dagger, he's like in awe, trying to just
Like
appreciate
something
that,
holy.
that
He's holding
beautiful
something
thing.
holy.
And he's like, ooh, this is like, I don't know what the hell he's holding. It feels so. The handle of the actual dagger
Had the
contains
sand.
This doesn't even feel like the sand can fit in. You might even, I don't know what's the design.
Yeah.
So it's wrong on so many levels, dude. I can make an hour video and talk about this, how much I hate what they did.
Yeah. Like
you can even see there are no shadows on the floor. You can see that people standing. There's just no shadows here.
Oh, dude.
Why? You are in a technology of ray tracing,
Yeah.
and yet the cinematics is looking like
the cinematic looking way better than the
game
game. Yeah, absolutely. I was gonna say that.
Like for example, I like to think of it like you see this level where he gets that. I believe this was the region where you get.
You increase your health.
Yeah, this is the region that you gain extra health. Right?
Yeah.
The kind of fog they have put, the environment they have put, this gives you a mystery feel. Right? You feel like I don't know what the hell is happening. I'm scared as shit, but I want to go to the center of it and like just be there and be safe.
Yeah.
That's the vibe I got when I played this game. Like,
because when you entered, it was beautiful yet scary, and then when you understood,
and it's very hard to make that visuals, and these guys already made that for you. It's like a benchmark has already been set. When moving to the current stage, what these guys did is like
it's like a palace.
What space there is cloud. This made sense because it felt like it's probably under something. There are caves and there's no light, and you need to add these thingies. I don't even know what.
Oh, there's open sky in that. I didn't even notice that. There's open sky there. What the hell?
Yeah, and this is like, why? Why do you want to put it in old space? It's like Aladdin taking Jasmine on that carpet ride thingy. It's like probably flying out there somewhere.
Yeah. Okay, that's just our rant as fans as well. Don't take it as NAKY's been in industry, so that is his perspective. This is
absolutely. Yeah, that's what I feel. I don't care
this is on the perspective, like as a fan of the this game. Even to this day, I have a crappy work laptop and I still managed to load up this game from my Steam and give it a go at point to point, because that's how fun the original Sands of Time was. And it is disappointing to see that remake didn't receive that much love and care, especially in the age where remakes are becoming so good, especially with like even if it's not a total remake, it's just a like a higher resolution version or 60 FPS version of the current game. Even those look spectacular, but this is flat out disappointing. And that's all the questions I had for you, NAKY, today. Maybe I'll load up, find some more games that I want your reaction on. So it'll be fun to talk. And
sure. Anytime. I would like to give my 2 cents if possible. But I love doing this. It's always fun to like go back to nostalgia and why we learn so much from these people who did it back then. Everything what we do today, what I do, comes from them. It's because they made it back then. We are passionate to
exactly.
The reason why we're sitting here today and talking about this is because they put a mark in our childhood that still follows through. So hats off to those guys back then.
Awesome, dude. It has been fun talking to you, NAKY, and I look forward to more discussions like this, dude. And if you guys have any suggestions to what game I should have NAKY react to and what questions I should ask him, if you have any lingering question like the ones that I had for the fingers, if you have any questions like that, let us know down in the comments below. The comment section is for you guys. The more comments you give, the more content we can make. So make sure to drop a comment or find me in all of the social media links that are in the description, and tweet me, Facebook message me, or find me wherever, Instagram, and let me know what you want me to have NAKY react to. And hopefully we can get more developers in the future if this thing goes somewhere. So I look forward to that as well. But for now, that'll be all, guys. NAKY, thank you so much for giving me your time, dude. And for the rest of you, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.